Think about the last time you said something in a room and nobody responded. Not because they didn't hear you, but because they chose not to. You finished your sentence, there was a pause, someone else spoke, the conversation moved on, and you sat there wondering if you'd said something wrong or if you were somehow invisible. Here's what nobody tells you. It probably wasn't what you said, it was a pattern. A quiet, consistent behavior that signals to people, without a single word, that you don't need to be taken seriously. And the most dangerous part? You've been doing it so long it feels normal. It feels like just being polite, being humble, being easy to get along with. But there's a very thin line between being likable and being ignorable, and most people cross it without ever realizing. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact habits that make people unconsciously treat you as background noise, even when you're standing right in front of them. Pay attention, because you're going to recognize yourself in at least one of these. We're taught from a young age to shrink. Don't be too loud, don't take up too much space, don't make people uncomfortable. Be agreeable, be flexible, be easy, and so we learn to over-apologize, to over-explain, to ask for permission before stating an opinion, to laugh at things that aren't funny, to agree when we don't actually agree. These aren't personality traits, they're survival strategies that outlive their usefulness. The problem is that other people's brains are constantly scanning their environment for social cues. Who leads? Who follows? Who matters? Who can be ignored? And when someone consistently signals submission, not through weakness, but through small, invisible habits, the brain files them away. Not with contempt, not with dislike, just with indifference. Indifference is harder to recover from than conflict. This video isn't about becoming aggressive or cold. It's about recognizing the exact patterns that slowly erode how people perceive you and what you can do about it. Sign 1, you over-explain your decisions. You got a haircut, someone noticed, and instead of saying thanks, you spent 40 seconds explaining why you finally decided to do it. Nobody asked. Over-explaining is a form of preemptive defense. It signals that you expect your choices to be questioned, so you answer the criticism before it arrives. The psychological message underneath is, I'm not sure I deserve this decision. When you explain too much, people stop listening. Sign 2, you laugh before the joke is finished. It feels friendly, it feels warm. But what it communicates is, I need you to like me right now. Preemptive laughter is approval seeking in real time. It shows that you're monitoring how others feel about you more than you're actually present in the conversation. Presence is what makes people feel valued. Sign 3, you immediately agree, then change your mind later. In the meeting, you said it sounded like a good idea. An hour later, you said you had concerns. This is one of the most socially costly habits there is. It tells people that your public face and your private thoughts are two different things. Real influence doesn't come from confrontation, it comes from consistency. Reliability is what builds long-term respect. Sign 4, you minimize your own contributions. Oh, it was nothing really. Anyone could have done it. I just got lucky. You did the work. Something went well. And the first thing you did was dissolve the credit before anyone else could give it to you. This feels like humility. It is not humility. It is a preemptive strike against your own visibility. There's a version of modesty that earns respect, and there's a version that trains people to agree with you, to believe, yes, it was nothing. Over time, they take your word for it. Acknowledge your work simply. Thank you, I'm glad it helped. Full stop. Sign 5, you fill every silence. The conversation pauses, and within 3 seconds, you're already talking about anything, just to end the discomfort. Silence reads differently depending on who holds it. For someone perceived as significant, silence feels like thought. For someone already seen as low status, silence feels like nervousness. The people in the room who carry the most weight are often the ones who speak least, not because they have nothing to say, because they know that words are worth more when they're chosen. Let the pause breathe. The discomfort is yours. It doesn't belong to the room. Sign 6, you ask for opinions before forming your own. What do you think I should do? Does this seem right to you? Before you've even sat with a question yourself, you're outsourcing the answer. This is how people gradually become invisible in their own lives. Decision-making is a signal of self-trust, and when you consistently hand that signal to someone else, the social message is clear. I don't fully trust my own judgment. People respect those who come with a perspective, even an imperfect one. You can ask for input after you've formed a view. That's collaboration. Asking before you've thought it through is dependency. Recognizing these patterns is step 1. Changing them without overcorrecting is step 2. 3 things that work. First, Pause before you respond, not dramatically, just long enough to ask yourself, am I about to speak from presence or from anxiety? That single question rewires a lot of the behaviors on this list. Second, reduce what you explain. Start tracking how often you justify decisions that nobody questioned. Cut the explanation in half, then cut it again. You'll notice that nothing collapses. People don't need your reasoning. They need your clarity. Third, let one thing land before you deflect it. When you receive recognition, criticism, or silence, resist the urge to immediately process it out loud. Sit with it. Let it register. The people who seem most grounded are usually just the ones who've stopped narrating their own discomfort in real time. You don't need to become a different person. You need to stop apologizing for being this one. We started with a simple image. You said something. The room moved on. That moment isn't about cruelty. Most people aren't trying to ignore you. They're just responding to signals. Signals you've been sending so long, you stopped noticing them. Paranoia looks for enemies. Perception looks for patterns. And patterns can be changed. You don't have to speak louder. You don't have to take up more space. You just have to stop signaling that you expect to be overlooked. Because the moment you stop expecting it, other people stop delivering it. From now on, observe before reacting. Notice when you shrink. Notice when you apologize for existing. Notice when you laugh instead of speaking. And then, just once, don't. Watch what changes.